Hello, welcome to the How to Reinvent Yourself in a Year Masterclass. My name is Clarissa, and I am going to be the host of this masterclass tonight. If you are here with me live, I'm using a new microphone, so I would love it if in the chat you could let me know if the volume sounds okay. If it needs to go higher or lower, if we are good, that would be fantastic before I dive into all of this incredible work that we're going to be doing tonight. So if you know anything about me, when I do these master classes, they are very much workshop style. So if you have a journal, grab it now, a pen. I did send out the workbook for those of you who signed up for this master class that you can take notes on. But we are going to be doing practices tonight. We are going to be answering questions. We're going to be doing the work of really outlining the framework for yourself and how to reinvent yourself in a year. So again, if you are here, can you just in the comments, just let me know if you can hear me okay. Last time I was live, there was an issue with the mic, so I want to make sure that I don't get it 10 minutes in and there is no sound coming through. So if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see the chat. Just let me know if the sound is okay. And if I don't see anyone comment, I'm just going to assume that we're golden. I'm also going to do a test. Okay. So Jody said sounds nice. Could probably be turned down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Can you hear my daughter now in the background? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and thank you everyone for the feedback on the mic. Let's go ahead and dive in to the masterclass tonight. So I just want to let you know what to expect. We're going to go for about 90 minutes. And the reason for this is because we're going to be doing some work tonight. There's going to be moments where you are going to be answering questions. There's going to be moments where you are going to be doing a practice with me. There's going to be moments where I'm taking you through a visualization. And my goal with this masterclass tonight is that you walk away with a plan on how to reinvent yourself in a year if that is your desire and your goal. What I'm walking you through tonight is what I do with women one-on-one and what I'm going to be doing with women inside of my program called Your Sacred Reinvention. It's a 7-month program that I'm taking women through starting on November 3rd. And so tonight you're getting a taste of what that journey is going to be like. You're going to see all of the phases that you're going to go through when you're reinventing yourself. I did not make up these phases. These are the mysteries of becoming. This is the life, death, and rebirth process. This is also the process of change. So there's neuroscience built into this, but there's also sacred feminine wisdom and the mysteries of life built into it as well. So one of the things that I want you all to know is that tonight is going to feel very much like a journey. We're going to be crossing a threshold together, and this threshold is going to require you to commit to the whole ride if you want to become everything it is that you desire. I've personally taken myself through this process time and time again, but in 2020, right after I had my daughter, the first iteration of what I call the sacred journey of becoming came through while I was on a walk listening to a podcast on the cycle of change. And so this process is based off of neuroscience. It has a lot of manifestation and sacred feminine wisdom built into it. And as I have been deepening my journey with the ancient feminine arts, with the divine feminine, and taking myself through this process again over and over again, I've been updating it and infusing it with sacred feminine wisdom. And this is a culmination of 9 years of work, initially with teaching women this process who were going through college and were wanting to become better students. We were doing a lot of this inner work with them. And this is how they were able to achieve whatever it is that they wanted while they were going through the academic process. And again, this is a journey that I'm going to be taking women through inside of my program. So again, this is called the Sacred Journey of Becoming. And one of the things that I love about this is that when I was in nursing school, so if you don't know, what used to be a labor and delivery nurse before I started my company and before I became a priestess. And one of my nursing school professors used to always say, people do best when they know what to expect. One of the reasons why I was really successful in the work that I did with women in college is because in addition to providing them with the skills that they needed to succeed, like the practical things, I also really walked them through what the experience of shifting who they were to who it is that they wanted to become was going to feel like. I revealed to them ahead of time the thoughts that their brain was going to offer them. I revealed to them ahead of time the emotions that they were going to feel and the experiences that they might have in their life and that they were going to go through at each of the gateways of this process of becoming. And the reason why this is so important is because the secret to your becoming, the secret to everything it is that you desire to be, is learning how to not quit. When we don't know what we're going to experience in the process of our becoming, when all we're relying on is the image that we have in our mind of what it should be like or what we think it's going to be like, when things don't go exactly like that picture we had in our mind, we make it mean that something has gone horribly wrong. And we confuse discomfort that comes naturally with the process of becoming with the idea that maybe this is not meant for us. And so it's important that you understand that this process of becoming, it is a process. This is every single person who has a goal, every single person who has a desire, every single person who wants something in their life different than what it is that they have right now is going to go through these phases that I'm going to walk you through tonight. I'm going to tell you how to know when you're in that phase, when you've initiated yourself into that phase. I'm going to talk to you about what's required for you to get through it. And you're going to know exactly what you're going to need so that you can move to the next phase. Every single goal you have, you're going to be going through this process. And it is a spiral, okay? And there is a underworld involved in it, right? You're going to go through it. And I want you to expect that you are going to go through it. But when you get really good at dancing with the messy middle, the space in between who it is that you were and who it is that you desire to be, I promise you it feels really good. I promise you it will feel like magic and juiciness and deliciousness, and you are going to feel very much in control and in power, and it is going to show you a side of yourself and a version of yourself that you have yet to meet. It is going to take you through the depths of who you are, and it's going to show you what it is that you're capable of. This is how we create. This is how we make whatever it is that we desire possible. And it all begins with a decision. That's the first phase of the sacred journey of becoming. The decision. This is where, quite literally, you decide what it is that you want for yourself and who it is that you're going to need to become to create it. This is your initiation into your becoming. Oftentimes, this phase comes when we hit rock bottom. Every time I've gone through this process, mine has come because I've hit rock bottom. The first time I went through this process was when I failed out of 7 classes in college and was told to my face that I was dumb and that I would never make it in the field that I wanted to make it in. It came through very recently as you guys are watching me in real time reinvent myself and become again in this path of becoming a priestess. It came when I hit rock bottom in my relationship with my husband. I was ready to leave. It came when my worst fear of becoming a mother and trying to also be the successful woman happened. A conversation with my husband, words that I wished I would never hear occurred. It came because I was stuck I was stuck in my career. I was stuck in what it is that I wanted with my life. And I hit a point where I was questioning whether or not I wanted to continue living. Now, I never had a desire to actually, pass away, but I didn't know how to get out of where it is that I was. So a lot of the times this decision comes because we've experienced something that we no longer want to be experiencing, that we no longer want to tolerate. When we get really good at this process of becoming, we actually will initiate ourselves, we'll kick it off ourselves just for the pure joy of watching ourselves evolve. And that's how you know that you've really mastered this process, is when you're initiating your own becoming process just for the pure joy of seeing what else can I do? Who else can I be? What else can I experience in this life? Now, here's how you know that you're in this phase, is because you'll have thoughts like, why do I keep ending up in the same place? I want more for myself. You'll think, I'm tired of being here. Or it'll also come with a lot of excitement and motivation and desire, right? To experience something new. But you could also experience a lot of frustration here as well, because you've been repeating a pattern over and over and over again. So what is required of us in order to move through this phase is an awareness of where you're starting and who it is that you no longer want to be and what it is that you no longer want to tolerate. It requires vision for what it is that you want and who you're going to need to become to create it. But the most important piece here is when you land here in this place of desire, of wanting more, it has to come without judgment of who you've been. Why this is so important is because the version of you who is here experiencing whatever it is that you're experiencing right now that you want out of, baby, she got you here. She was vital to your journey. And we have to thank her, and we have to be grateful for her survival, for everything that she got you through up until this point. So, in this place of the decision of what it is that you want and who it is that you're going to need to become in order to create it, there are two questions that will be helpful for you to journal on. And so I'm going to actually give you those questions. I'm going to try to copy and paste them in the chat. So the first question is, what was your goal at the beginning of this year of 2024? What was it that you wanted? Who was it that you wanted to be? What did you want to experience? What was your intention? So I'm going to place that in the chat, or at least attempt to. The second question is, what did you actually create and experience these past 10 months? So what did you desire to happen, essentially, and then what actually happened? It's so important in this phase of your becoming that you are brutally honest with yourself. That you are willing to see what's actually here and real and to stand it. What I mean by that is to not look away. What I mean by that is to not wish it away. What I mean by that is to not judge it away. What I mean is to actually be intimate with what you're actually experiencing. Be real, raw, and vulnerable with yourself for the first time in your fucking life. To look at what is here. For you to alchemize, for you to transmute, for you to shift, and for you to change. Because this is what we're working with. We can't change what happened these past 10 months this year. That piece of it is out of our control. But what isn't out of our control is how we relate to it, what we make it mean about us and about what we're capable of. A lot of us use our past to predict and determine what's going to happen or what we're capable of. The past is just what it is, the past. It has no power over you right now until you give it power through the way that you relate to it, to what you make it mean. This is the reason why I want you to look at this, because we're going to move into something in a second, but I'm going to play music. And again, excuse me, I normally do these on Zoom, but I'm doing a YouTube live today and I'm using a new mic. So we're going to see if my plan to play music will actually work if I hold it up to the microphone. And you guys are gonna be my helpers here and let me know if it actually works. And if not, in the future, we'll just continue to do these on Zoom. So take out your journal and answer those two questions. And I'm going to play music. And then let me know if it works. And I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to answer these questions. About 1 more minute here. Okay. So I would love it if you could share in the chat what your intentions, your goals, your desires were at the beginning of the year and what you've actually created for yourself now. Now you are going to have a lot of thoughts, opinions about what didn't happen. Your brain is going to want to fixate on that. And remember that I told you that that is not allowed in this process. It is all good. Even the bad is good because it is all you. This is your life that you're actively living. And no matter what your perception of it is right now, this is your life. Right now, this is your life. All of it is your life. It all matters. It's all relevant. It's all helping you to become. It was all prepping you, preparing you for this moment right now, for this piece of your evolution, of your unfolding. You are never, ever, ever, ever going to be able to build at the same time that you are destroying. This is the reason why it's so important that you do not judge. Do you not shame, you do not guilt yourself for where you are in your life right now. Your past is what it is. It's not good, it's not bad. It just is what it is. You get to decide in this moment right now whether it's going to dictate who you become. And if you're going to use it as reference for what you're capable of, or if you're going to allow it to aid in the rebuilding process. If you're going to take the learnings and the lessons and let it aid you in who it is that you're becoming. The story that you choose to tell yourself about the past matters. It matters because it is building your identity. It is building your self-concept, what you think about yourself. And why what you think about yourself is so important is because it changes the way that you show up in the world. It changes the way that you carry yourself and how you act. So if you are serious, if you are all in on allowing these next 7 months, this next year of your life to be different, you're going to have to rewrite the way you tell the story of your past. If you change your thoughts about your past, if you change the narrative, if you change the way that you tell the story, if you change what you make it mean about you, you can change your past in a way that serves you to be able to build off of and to create everything it is that you want for yourself over this next year. So this next exercise is a twist on a forgiveness letter. I'm going to invite you to actually rewrite your past. I want you to write a letter to yourself explaining all of the wonderful things that happened to you these past 10 months that have led you to this very moment where you're sitting at this workshop with me. I want you to write a letter to yourself as though what happened these past 10 months happened exactly the way they should have. I want you to tell the story of how resilient you were. I want you to tell the story of how you overcame every single challenge that you were presented with. I want you to tell the story of how you didn't give up, of how hard you worked, of the things you learned about yourself, and how it shaped you. I want you to write it in a way that you'd be proud to tell the story. The way you would write it in a memoir. The way you would write it in the book of you. The way you would write it if you were wanting people to see you like the fucking queen that you are. Your life is not a mistake. Do you hear me? Nothing that has happened up until this point has been a mistake. You are being positioned for the exact life it is that you want. The moment that you decide and you declare that you fucking want something, you better believe it's going to come with the situations and the conversations and the experiences to build you into the woman who can fucking have it. This is the process. You're in it right now, my loves. This is your life. You are actively building it right now. And that's how I need you to tell the story in hindsight. Like that. Like you are being positioned and prepared to win because you are. It's just our brain lies to us sometimes. So Ashley says she reached 10K on Instagram, and that was one of her goals, and she did it. Congratulations. Ashley Santana said that the past 10 months came with so much baggage coming to the surface, and she's learning to be brave and move through it. Blake said she experienced increasing confidence, and she's more sure than ever that she's moving in the correct direction. Amazing. So I'm going to play some more music. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a long letter, right? It's only been 10 months, right? So, but just write the past as though it's happened exactly the way that it should have. If you're still writing, that is okay. You can come back to this masterclass with the replay and finish your letter if you haven't already. But this is your initiation process. This is where everyone starts with their process of becoming. You're looking at your life. You're looking at where you've been. And you're becoming aware of what you no longer want. And what it is that you do want. And who it is that you're going to have to be in order to create it. And the moment that you say that, whether it's to yourself in your mind or out loud to somebody else, the moment that you declare what it is that you want, your becoming process has begun. You're in it. And there is no getting off the ride. There is no getting off the ride. Do you understand this? There is no getting off the ride. You're going to try. And every time you try to get off the ride, you're going to have another moment, another experience in your life trying to reinitiate you back into what has already been divinely planned for you. Because you in your heart desire it. So this is where you're going to enter into phase 2 of the sacred journey of becoming, which is called the release. In order for you to create something new, you're going to have to be someone you've never been. I'm going to say that again. In order to create something new, you're going to have to be someone you've never been. This means you're going to have to think differently than you've thought before. You're going to have to feel differently, like actually experience different emotions in your body. And you're going to have to do things differently than you've done before. This gateway, this phase of your becoming, it asks you to let go of the version of you who you've learned and had to be to get here. Remember how I said we don't shame that part of ourselves, we don't guilt it, we don't judge it, because she was necessary to get you here. But she's not the version of you that's going to get you to where it is that you want to be. So what's going to be asked of you is that you lay it all down. Everything you've had to be, that you release it and you shed it so that you can see who's actually left. Because she's likely who you actually are. Because this process of becoming is actually a process of unbecoming, of deconditioning ourselves from who we've had to be, needed to be, to survive, to get here to this place where we now are fucking deciding. Or we now are taking back control and are remembering that we are the creators of our experience. She asks you at this point, your future self, to be willing to believe that what you want is possible. Because at this point in the process, you're excited. You're ready. You've got the goal. Like, if your goal is like weight loss or whatever, like you've done all the meal planning, like you've hired the trainer, you've bought the planners, like you got your social media plan, like whatever your goal is at this point, you're excited. You're ready to go because you're not aware yet of what it's going to require you to have to let go of so that you can have it. So the thoughts that might start creeping in at this phase are, I don't know if I can do this. Is this actually right? Did I actually hear this correctly? Is this actually what I'm supposed to be doing? This this seems like it's going to be harder than I imagined. It's heavier than I thought. I don't know if I can carry this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have what it takes. You're going to want, at this point, to go back to the way things were. You're going to tell yourself that your life wasn't that bad before. It's all right. Like, it's fine. You're going to feel a lot of doubt start to creep in here. A lot of uncertainty. A lot of fear. And what it's going to require you to learn is that you need to become very aware of the parts of you that need to be alchemized. Okay? All alchemy is taking what is and using it to create something else. This phase is going to require that you shift things, that you make peace with different aspects of your life and aspects of yourself, that you clear any shame that exists, that you consciously, deliberately, on purpose, own every decision you've made up until this point and the decision that you're making now. This requires you to lay down any feelings of unworthiness that you might have. You're going to have to believe harder than you've believed ever in your life. You're going to need to be willing to learn new things and let it be hard, because it's going to be fucking hard. It is. I'm not the person you come to if you don't want to work through shadowy things, if you don't want to work through the things that you don't want anyone to see. I'm not the person that you work with if at the first sign of discomfort, you're ready to bow out. If you want to be in it and learn how to move through it and let the shadowy bits of yourself become the reason why you succeed, I'm the person you work with. This is what you have to learn how to do. So what I want you to do right now is I actually want you to declare what it is that you want for yourself in the next year. Okay? I want you to decide right now what you want. What you want to have, what you want to experience, who you want to be. How do you want people to see you, to think of you? What are the thoughts that you want to have about yourself? And then these next two questions are going to help you to uncover your shadow sides. They're going to help you to uncover what you're going to need to release, what you're going to need to alchemize and shift and transform in order to become the version of yourself that can actually create what it is that you want. And that question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is your belief that you can actually create that? 1 is, I don't believe this at all. 10 is, this is done. Like, I'm already on the path to create this. The second question, it's actually like a follow-up question. So whatever number you gave yourself, what's the story you're telling yourself for why you think you can't be at a 10? The answer to that question is who you're going to need to become, the things you're going to need to shift, alchemize, and make peace with through shadow work. Through the process of taking all the ugliest bits of yourself, the most shamey, the most guilt-ridden, the most yucky, I don't want anyone to ever, 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 ever know about this, see this, etc. And let it become the reason why you succeed. Let it become the most sexiest, alluring, and magnetizing aspects of yourself. So I'm going to play some music. I'm going to drop the questions in the chat again because I know it's helpful. So the first one is, what do you want in the next year? Who do you want to become? What is it that you want to think about yourself? What do you want to have, experience? And then the other questions are, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your belief that you can actually create that, experience that, achieve it, think that about yourself? And then for whatever number you give yourself, so let's say you gave yourself a 7 on belief, why did you give yourself a 7? Like what is not allowing you to be a 10? All right, dropping those, getting the music going again. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to do this. Okay, I'm curious what it is that you want to create in the next year, because this is what you're going to be reinventing yourself into. The kind of woman who can actually achieve it. That woman thinks very differently than how you're thinking right now. She experiences her life emotionally very differently than you are experiencing yours right now. And she has different behaviors. Reinventing yourself is so simple when you understand that all you're doing is you're working with your brain, your thoughts, your narratives, your self-concept, the thoughts you have about yourself and your life. Reinventing yourself is so simple when you understand is what you're working with is your emotional body, how you feel on a daily basis, what you are willing to feel and allowing yourself to feel. Reinventing yourself is so easy when you understand that what you're working with is also your behaviors, the actions you're taking, which are influenced by how much you're willing to feel and the story and the narrative that you have about yourself. It's all tied together. So what's your desire, your goal? What do you want in the next year? Where is your belief at right now? And what are you seeing that you're going to need to alchemize, alchemize, transform, shift, and release in order to become the kind of woman who can actually create that, to think differently, to feel differently, and to behave differently. Because once you've decided who you no longer are going to be, once you've gotten clear on what you want, who you want to be, and what's going to need to be shed in order to get you there, step 3 is being very clear. Phase 3 is being very clear on who is going to get you there, who you need to reinvent yourself into. This phase is called the declaration. This is where you get to name her, the version of you who's going to create everything you want in the next year. You have to get so specific on who she is, which means you have to be very specific on who she is not. That's where the release comes in, right? You have to be so clear on how she feels, because we do not create from our mind alone. We create, especially as women, through our emotional body, through our body. You have to be so clear on how she moves through the world, the conversation she has and doesn't have, the things she does and doesn't do. This is where you declare to yourself and to the world, by how you move, by how you speak about yourself, by how you're relating to yourself in your life, this is who I fucking am now. You thought you knew me. This is who I am. And you've got to make it so crystal clear to your mind and to your body what the essence of her is. This gateway, this phase of your becoming requires you to clearly name and map out what you want and who you're going to be and what it will require to become her on a mind level, the brain level. This is where your words, how you speak to yourself, become very important, because our words are spells. In the program, I call this tool spell casting. It's your ability to tell the story in a way that helps you to create it. Being so precise and deliberate and conscious of how you relate to yourself, how you see yourself, and how you're speaking about yourself in your life and where it is that you're going. You got to see it so clear in your mind so that you can feel it clearly in your body. Because we create, you may have heard this word as manifest, All manifestation is taking an idea and making it real, tangible. It has to be so clear in your mind and in your body that you begin to act in the 3D world as though it's already happening. You have to feel it in your body like it's already happening. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through a visualization so that you can connect to that version of yourself. So that's what we're going to move into next. So if you have headphones, I would put them in now. You can get comfortable. If for whatever reason you are in a space where you can't meditate or visualize because you're driving, please don't do this because I want you to be safe. But again, I will send out the replay of this so you can do this later. But get yourselves real comfy because we're about to go on a little soul journey. And I really wanted to play music along with this, but I don't know how my voice sounds when I play music and talk at the same time with this microphone. So it might not work. So we're just going to do it with my voice and frequency. Okay? So again, if you haven't already done it in the chat, let me know what your goals are, your desires. Who are you becoming? What are we reinventing ourselves into this next year? And you could also do it after the visualization if it becomes more clear then. But we're going to begin. I'm going to take a sip of water and turn on my meditation voice, which is not that whisper because that would be very annoying. But let me know if I sound too airy or like if you can hear too much of my like the spitty stuff. Let's begin. So I want you to close your eyes gently. And as you do so, look in and up into the middle of your brow bone. And we're going to take a big inhale in through our nose, holding at the top and then releasing. I'll count you guys in. So go ahead and inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and release. Inhale in 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and release. One more time. Inhaling in 1, 2, 3. Holding at the top and release. Focus on your breath. Notice how it feels and allow it to enter deeper into your lungs. The nice thing about your brain is when you notice, you're not noticing breath. You can just notice breath. Feel the seat beneath you. Feel the weight of the ground pressing up into your feet. Taking a moment to relax your body, starting at the top of your head. Imagine a white light of relaxation moving through your beginning at the crown. As it touches the top of your head, you feel it sinking into the top layer of your skin and melting away your attention. The light touches your brow bone and your forehead relaxes. Your brow bone smooths. As it begins to move down into your jaw area, you feel a soft release, letting your teeth unclench and come apart. Your lips may begin to part, your tongue filling the space created in this relaxation. The white light moves down your neck and into your shoulders, which becomes soft. You feel your shoulders lower into this relaxation. You may even feel a slight stretch. As the white light now fills the space where your shoulders once were. As the light travels down your arms and into your palms, they become heavy. And you may notice a slight tingle as the white light touches the tips of your fingers. As the light continues down your upper body, you feel your lungs breathing deeper. You feel your heart opening, your belly expanding as you continue to breathe deeply. Taking a deep inhale in, 1, 2, 3, holding at the top, and release as the white light continues lower into your spine. You may feel an elongation moving into your sit bones. Melting a little deeper into your seat, making any adjustments you need to feel more comfortable. As the white light continues to move through your legs, notice the weightlessness in your feet and your legs. As you're fully supported, the light moves through your ankles and the soles of your feet. Take a moment to notice how your body feels. Taking another deep breath. In, 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and release. As you prepare to meet her, your future self. Open yourself up to the messages that they have for you. Imagine yourself walking. The sun is out. It's warm on your face. And there's a slight breeze touching your cheeks. As you're walking, you're thinking about how you're almost at the home of your future self. And you're excited to see what it looks like and to meet this person that you're becoming. The path you're walking on begins to narrow, and the home starts to come into view as you continue. You take in what the outside of your home looks like. The breeze you're feeling drifts away as you approach the door to your home. Walking up the path to your door, you find yourself standing in front of it, noticing the color of the door. You see the trim around it and instantly relax. You take a moment to look around you, and you notice the sun is peeking through big fluffy clouds before you decide to ring the doorbell. You hear the click of an opening, and the door gently swings open. and the eyes you look into are familiar and welcoming. You're warmly greeted and invited in, closing the door behind you. As you step more fully into the home, you're able to get a better look at your future self. Take her in. Notice what she's wearing, how her hair is styled, is there anything unexpected about how she looks as the two of you walk further into the home? Beginning to chat, you take a look around and notice the size of the home and how you feel inside of it. What do you smell? What draws your attention? Notice how things are kept and the style of the decor that surrounds you. As you come into the living space, you both take a seat and begin to pick up the conversation as if you're talking to an old friend, catching up on the time gone by as if no time has passed at all. You talk about their daily life and what they were up to the week before. She enthusiastically shares what she's been up to and what she's looking forward to the most. As the conversation continues, you notice a desk nearby with a collection of items that feel familiar. Talking about your life is just as natural, and you're exchanging these topics interchangeably. They share what they've been up to this past year. Few of the typical reoccurring activities that they do, the people they've met, the things they've experienced. As you're sitting back, feeling completely relaxed and fully at home. As the conversation deepens, you get a glimpse into the past few years for them. You talk about a few highlights and defining moments, about the once big scary things that turned out not to be so scary at all. Events that made you. The lessons you've learned. And the things that you still love and hold dear year after year. The seconds turn into minutes, the minutes turn into hours, and before you know it, you've spent the entire afternoon together. As the sun begins to set in the late afternoon sky, your conversation naturally comes to an end. You begin to make your way through the home towards the front door. You pause and take everything in one last time. You feel so grateful and at peace to know your future self. You feel so grateful and at peace to have had this conversation. And as you say your goodbyes and step through the doorway, the soft breeze of the twilight sky touches your cheeks. The door closes behind you, and it brings you a feeling of happiness and inner knowing. Making your way onto the path in front of the home, you look up and catch the beginning of a rose-colored sunset. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and release. Take another deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top and release. As you begin to open your eyes, take a moment to reflect on everything you were able to learn. Now, with your eyes fully open, know that this future version of you is one of infinite possibilities. We're going to take some time now to write down the essence of her. What version of you created all of that? What does that version of you think? How does she spend her days? How does she feel? What are the main emotions she is willing to feel and does feel? How does she handle life? So, again, I'll play some more music, and you guys can journal on that. Okay, so I would love it if you could share in the chat who it is that you're going to need to become. What's the essence of her? What did you notice? What surprised you? What did you notice about the way that she thinks, the way that she carries herself? What was her energy like? And Josie earlier shared that her desire, what she wants for this next year, is to be fierce and confident in her own skin, deeper connections with family and friends, and to experience more fun and love, which is so up my alley. And I love that for you, that is what you desire. So feel free to share that in the chat. Okay, so up until now, again, I'm going to recap, right? We've gone through the decision. We've gone through the release. We've gone through the declaration. And now this is where shit's going to get hard. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, the moment you decide this is who I'm going to be and this is what I want, everything in your life is going to position so that you can have it. We think this is going to come as this nice, easy, straight line where we know exactly what it's going to look like, exactly what we need to do, where we need to go, who we need to talk to, etc. But that is not the way the mysteries of this life, death, and rebirth process work. You are going to get the exact experiences, the exact causes that are going to require you to choose to be her time and time again. You are going to be presented with opportunities where you can either be who you've always been, or you're going to be who it is that you're becoming, where you're going to choose to be her. This phase of your becoming is called the feelings, because you're going to feel a lot. When I used to teach this to women in college, I would call this the pit of despair. Shit's going to hit the fan here. Your life is going to be flipped upside down, and this is where you're going to want to quit. This is where it gets really messy. And you are going to think something has gone terribly wrong. You are going to think there is something wrong with me and my life. You are going to have this urge to try to fix things that you think need to be fixed. You're going to try to take a lot of action. You're going to ask a lot of questions and ask for a lot of advice. You're going to be searching outside of yourself to fix what you think has gone terribly wrong. This is the part of your becoming. If you're familiar with the Inanna story, goddess Inanna, this is the underworld, by the way. Okay, this is where you have gone down and met your sister Ereshkigal and she's killed you. Okay, this is that part. It's gonna feel like death, like poo poo caca. You're gonna want out. This gets to be your demise or your position of power. What will determine if it's your demise or your position of power is your ability to feel. There is nothing for you to do when this part of the becoming process happens. It's coming. It's going to happen. There is nothing for you to do, just things for you to feel. And this journey of becoming is one hell of a ride. And you have to be willing to open yourself up to the full spectrum of this human experience. You have to want everything that comes with becoming her, not just the good parts. All of it. There's going to be trade-offs, and you got to want the trade-offs. There's going to be grief and frustration and anger. You're going to need to want that as well. And there's also going to be excitement and hope and joy. This particular gateway asks that you learn how to expand to hold all of it. To hold the both and, the duality of this human existence. You got to be willing to be here for it all, and to actually long for it, and to see the magic in it, and to see the beauty and the expansion of it. And the thing about this particular gateway is that it doesn't just exist in this gateway. Because this process of becoming, it's a spiral, and it's also not a linear process. You're going to weave in and out of different phases, but this feelings part of it is going to be in every single phase. So what you're going to need to learn, by the way, the voice, the thoughts of this part is, I can't do this, I want to quit. That's how you know you're in it. You're just going to be like, I can't do this, I want to quit. I want to quit. I want to stop. I want this to stop. I'm done. Like, that's the voice of it. What it's going to require of you is that you learn how to feel, process, and alchemize an emotion, which is essentially to use what you're currently feeling and turn it into something else, to allow it to fuel your becoming. To turn disappointment into determination. Shame into pleasure. Anger into desire. When I work with women and in my program, I call this sensual and emotional alchemy. It's your ability to feel, to be willing to allow your emotions to wash over you. To be the thing that fuels your transformation. To understand the hidden messages that lie in what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. And to let that be the thing that turns you on instead of off. So tonight, I want to play with that a little bit. Okay? I said this workshop was going to be like 90 minutes, but we might go 2 hours. If you need to go, you can go. There will be a replay. But I told you we're going on a journey tonight, and I would love it if you saw it to the end, because if you're enjoying this, if this is igniting something in you, this is what it's going to be like when we go through it for 7 months. And your ability, like the thing that's so interesting is, this is the point where you're probably like, oh, it's getting late. I should turn this off. And it's mirroring the very journey that you're going to be in when you go on this 1-year reinvention process. This is the part where you're going to think, I'm too tired. I can't go on. I want to quit. I've got other things that I need to do. And your ability to stay in it, to be with the experience that is here now and not quit. That's what's going to get you to the end. Because most of us, we quit when it gets hard, when we're tired, when it hasn't happened in the timeline it is that we desire, when it's taking longer than we anticipated. This is what is called staying power. Your everything that you want lies at the other side of your ability to stay in it. To not quit, to not look away, to not avoid, but to go through it, to ride it out. Okay? So, I need your help again in the chat because I do want to talk over me playing the music to guide you through this process. So if you can, also kindly let me know how this is working because we're going to try it out right now. That would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to play the song. And then I'm also going to speak. So I want my voice to be just slightly higher than the music. So I'm going to play it for a second, and then you guys can let me know, does the music need to go higher or lower? And I'm going to be talking probably at this volume. So I want you to be able to hear me, but still feel the beat of the music. So I'll pause for a second because I know the chat is a little delayed. And then just see what the consensus is, if the music needs to be louder or lower. Okay, perfect. So you could be lying down for this. You can stay seated if you're seated. You can stand, whatever feels comfortable. For the first few seconds of the song, I'm just going to ask you to just place your hand on a part of your body, wherever feels comfortable. It could be your head, it could be your eyeball, it could be your ear, it could be your neck, your heart, wherever. This is just going to connect you to your body. And we're just going to start by just breathing as you listen. So just starting to take some deep breaths here. Maybe closing your eyes and bringing your attention inward. Allowing the music to connect you to who it is that you want to become. And I want you to notice the distance between who you are now and that version of you. To feel the tension, the yearning and the longing. And begin to let your body move as if it is that tension. That push and pull between who you want to be and who you've been. If your body could speak to what is happening in your mind right now, how would it communicate that desperation? that frustration, that hope, that yearning. Can you let your body be a representation of that gap? If your body determined how fast you got there, or how it felt on the way, how would it move? This practice of letting your body be the vessel that holds you in the space in between is how you make what you want real. When your body feels it, it becomes real. And this is how we alchemize emotions, through the body. Notice what that experience was like. Whether it was easy for you to let your body move in that way, for the emotions to just do what they wanted, to move you in the way that they wanted, or whether you felt a lot of resistance. Our bodies hold wisdom that lives in our subconscious. By the way, our subconscious is our most practiced behaviors, our most practiced thoughts, our most practiced emotions. It's who you've been. It holds codes of how to rewire. Your body can help you to create new patterns of thinking and feeling and being that will shape the way that you show up over the next year. Will shape how you identify, which your identity, your thoughts, will shift how you feel, and how you feel shifts how you show up. It determines what you do and also what you don't do. And most of us, we do things because we want to feel a certain way, and we do things because we want to avoid feeling certain things. Most of us in this process of becoming, the reason why there's so much back and forth and starting and stopping is because we don't know how to hold the tension. We don't know what to do with the feelings that come up in the space in between, when you're not quite her yet, but you're also not who you used to be. And it's like, what do I do? You're always being presented with a choice in this moment. And a lot of us choose so that we don't feel negative emotions because we don't know if we can handle it. But when you do practices like this, you expand your capacity to feel, to process and move emotions. And when you're not afraid to feel, you don't avoid, you don't stop, you don't procrastinate, you don't hold back, you move. And that movement, that momentum is what is going to help you to create what it is that you want. So what would you have to be willing to think? What would you have to be willing to feel over the course of this next year of you reinventing yourself. And doing practices like this, which again I call sensual and emotional alchemy. It's the basis of a lot of the work that I do with women. And it's going to be one of the practices that we're going to be doing together every single month inside of the program, Your Sacred Reinvention. When you get through the feelings, like I said, it creates movement. This is what is called the movement phase of your becoming, where you move like her. You say the things she would say in arguments and in conversations and in asking for the promotion. You do the things that she would do in arguments, in situations with your kids, in conversations with your boss. This gateway is where you act like her. You embody her. Your body, embody means in the body. You're moving like her. You actually are her in the moment, even before you and the world sees you like that. This is where you will need to think the way she thinks. You will need to feel the way she feels. You will need to do what she does, say what she does. This is where you get to practice being her in real life. This is the day-to-day work of your becoming. This is where most of us fall off. And we fall off because we don't have the feelings part handled yet. We haven't expanded our capacity to be with the discomfort of saying the thing that she would say that our old self wouldn't, that will create some tension. Making the decision that your future self would make that your old self wouldn't make, and feeling the discomfort and the fear in that, and moving anyway. Deciding anyway, saying anyway. This gateway, this requires you to learn new skills. Skills that old you didn't have. This gateway requires that you be willing to let it suck and allow yourself to mess up as you practice being her. As you practice being this new version of yourself. As you learn how to get good at being her. As you assess and tweak and practice some more. Until thinking like her, feeling like her, acting like her starts to become second nature. This phase requires you in real time to tell yourself better stories, to be able to catch your old way of thinking and quickly shift it, to be able to handle the feelings that are coming up, to make the decisions, to really just be in it, to do the shadow work in real time. This is where you're actually living out all of the inner work that you've been doing. Of releasing, of visualizing being her, of being connected to her. This is where you actually go be her. In everyday life. So what would creating this life or achieving what it is that you desire to reinvent yourself into over the next year require you to focus on learning? What would it require you to get better at doing? What skill will you need to build and learn? How are you going to learn how to move like her? To answer that. Because again, as I'm walking you through this phases, I'm helping you to build out your own sacred reinvention plan. You know what she is like now. You know who you've been and all the things that you're going to have to do and think and feel to close that gap between her and who you are right now. When you start moving like her, you move into this phase that's called the savoring. This is where that very cliche saying goes, you have to learn how to love the process and enjoy the process along the way. This is that gateway. You have to learn how to revel in the process of becoming, in the unfolding of her, to savor and make every ounce of your progress count. You have to learn how to get off and be turned on by the little moments in which you're choosing to be her instead of your old self. You have to be able to recognize that as well. Ooh, in the past, in this situation, I would have. And look, this time, right? This gateway sounds like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm making progress. Look how far I've come. Wow. You're starting to be in awe of yourself, and it requires that you let it all fucking count. Celebrate every single little accomplishment on the way. Make a big deal out of it, because this is how you teach your brain and your body that it is safe to be different. This is how you teach your brain and your body to associate dopamine hits, pleasure hits, with shifting and changing and becoming. This is how you increase your capacity for change and more. This is how you rewire your brain for abundance and joy and pleasure. So the questions to help you here are to help you start savoring the process and associating pleasure and acknowledging how you're already making progress even in this short time with me. Is how is it already true that I am my future self? I want you to look for evidence where you already share the same thoughts that she shares, or you're already starting to take some of the actions that she would take, or you're noticing qualities about yourself now that your future self has. And I want you to just look for that evidence in any area of your life. So, for example, when Josie shared earlier that, she wanted to be fierce and confident in her own skin, how is that already true now, Josie? Where in the last month have you been fiercer than you've ever been? Where was there a moment where you had an ounce of confidence? I don't care if it was like a second when you looked at yourself in the mirror because you had, I don't know, the way your hair was tucked behind your ear looked in that particular moment. Like, this is how detailed and nuanced you have to be about it, because this is how we begin to rewire our brain into thinking, hey, we're shifting, we're changing, we're becoming her. Look at this. Look at where we're going. Look at who we're becoming. This is how you begin to enjoy the process of becoming instead of feeling like it sucks all the time, because even though it does, there's a way for the sucking to feel good. For you actually to look forward to the initiations, for you to look forward to the moments when it's hard, because it's like, ooh, this is an opportunity where I get to choose who I'm going to be. Right? Where you start to look forward to the challenges, not because it feels good to go through them, but because it's another opportunity for you to be who you want to be. And the quicker we can pass these like little tests, right? The quicker we'll be moving towards who it is that we want to be. And if it's hard for you to find evidence right now, what evidence can you go and create for yourself that matches that version of you? Right? What situations, what conversations can you put yourself in so that you get to practice being her and then you get to celebrate? The last and final phase of your becoming is what I call the being. This is where you just are her. And it will sneak up on you, and it's going to take time. But over time, you will become her. Over time, you will feel rooted into her. You will be her, and she will be you. This is where your new identity becomes locked in. And not only do you see yourself as her, but the world sees you as her. This whole process has been a descension, okay, into who the fuck you are and rooting into that. In the program, we go through the 7 chakras and we work through the different shadow aspects of that descension through ceremony, through sensual and emotional alchemy practices, through shadow work, through spell work, which is learning how to tell a better story, working on your self-concept and your self-identity. But when you get to this being, the most important thing that you can do is be able to recognize that you've become her and celebrate the fuck out of it. To really sit in awe of yourself and of who you became. To give yourself all the credit for becoming her. And I just want you to tap into this version of yourself one more time because you just met her. I want you to reread what you wrote down after that visualization. I want you to take yourself there where you are her. Notice how it feels. Celebrate her now. Like really think about what it's going to feel like in that moment when you recognize, wow, I'm exactly who I wanted to be. The pride that you're going to feel, the certainty, the confidence, maybe even slight disbelief a little bit because that happens, right? Just in pure awe. This is the journey of your becoming. This is what I teach women how to do. I keep them from quitting. I help them see it through to the end. I help them overcome every hurdle that comes up on their way to their becoming. I teach them how to feel the emotions that come up instead of running from them, instead of avoiding, instead of numbing out. I teach them how to find their power through the messy middle. To let it be the reason why they become instead of the reason why they quit. every single one of the women that I have worked with over the past 9 years, this is the journey that I've taken them through. Everything that they create is because they've been willing to go through this journey over and over and over again. My life, my marriage, the way I'm raising my daughter, the things that you're witnessing me do now are all a result of this process of becoming. This is how you get unstuck. This is how you let go of all your feelings of inadequacy. This is how you figure it out. This is how you become the woman who does exactly what she says she's going to do, and whose life feels like she chose it, even when it doesn't look like how she imagined. When you join your Sacred Reinvention, the program, which is starting on November 3rd, we're going to set a goal and you're going to achieve it in the time frame. And that goal can be like a tangible thing, and it could just be an identity you want to embody. I'm going to help you to stop quitting on the goal. Stop self-sabotaging. Stop letting fear and doubt and imposter syndrome and life happening prevent you from living the exact life it is that you want. I'm going to help you to become the version of yourself that you know you can be in every area of your life that you want to be it in. Your entire life is going to change, because when you learn how to become whoever it is that you want, you can do it over and over and over again in any area of your life. So if you are interested in your Sacred Reinvention, the program, I'm going to put a link in the chat. If what you went through tonight touched you in some way, shape, or form, if it ignited something in you, if it made you believe in yourself again, this happened in just an hour and 50 minutes with me. And you haven't even gone out and actually done the work yet, which is where the magic actually happens, and where most people tend to quit because they don't have the support and they don't have the tools to move through it. Imagine what it's like to be in this with me for 7 months from start to finish and see it through to the end and be supported the entire way through. The program is unlike anything you've seen before, because it's really us doing this together, reinventing you together. We start off the month with a shadow work ceremony, because again, we're descending into ourselves. We're doing a lot of release work together. There's emotional alchemy practices that are done together, because shit's going to get hard. Life is going to life. And I want to tap you back in every single time to her. We're not going to bypass emotions. We're not going to bypass the hard part. I'm going to teach you how to thrive in it. I'm going to teach you how to get turned on by your own emotional experience. Grief into ecstasy. Frustration into determination. This is how we keep going. The reason why most of us don't have what it is that we want is because we quit when it gets hard. We make it mean things that it doesn't mean when things aren't happening the way that it is that we want. When you can stay in it. This is where you're going to learn who the fuck you are and what you're actually capable of. And you are going to see yourself in ways that you have never seen yourself before. Powerful. One week a month in the program It's going to be one-on-one coaching week where the women in the program are going to meet with me one-on-one privately for individualized support. Because everyone, like I said, this journey is a spiral. People are going to be in different phases of it at different points. And I want you to feel seen and heard and supported exactly where it is that you want, that you are in the process. We're going to do this for 7 months together. And I promise you, at the end of the 7 months, you will not recognize the woman that you are. Because she's going to be who you've always wanted to be. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you have questions about anything we've done today or the program, you can also drop it in the chat. If right now, for whatever reason, you feel complete, you're like, this is all I needed, but you want to give back in a way. The best way that you can give back to me is by giving me feedback on how this experience was for you tonight. What was your biggest takeaway from tonight? What did you learn? What surprised you? What did you love? Because this fuels me. It helps me. I'm a manifesting generator in human design, if you know anything about human design. So I love being able to respond to things. So in the chat, let me know what you thought about tonight, what your biggest takeaway was, what surprised you. The first 5 women who enroll in this program are going to get a private 90-minute ceremony with me that they can use at any point during our 7 months to help you to embody or move through and release whatever needs to be moved through and released or embodied during that phase of your life. And also a customized ritual kit, a hand-picked ritual kit that we'll use during our ceremony together. So again, if in the chat, you can just let me know what you loved about tonight, your biggest takeaway, that would be super, super helpful. And then I'm also open now to questions. I know it's late for some people, but I'm here. If you have any questions. But you have the entire 7-phase process of reinventing yourself in a year. You know what each phase is going to require. You know how to identify when you're in it. And the tools that you need to support you through it. I'm just hanging out for a second because I know there's a delay in the chat. So I just want to make sure that I don't pop off before you all get a chance to ask questions. So Josie says, thank you so much. The biggest takeaway is to not hold judgment for who I have been and to rewrite the story of how I get here and why I want to move forward and reinvent. So good. All right, everyone. So that concludes the How to Reinvent Yourself in a Year Masterclass / workshop. I'm going to be doing different workshops like this over the course of the year. This is a great question. So Josie asked, can we do the Sacred Reinvention fully virtually? So the entire program is virtual. So all of the ceremonies, all of the practices, they are all done online. So you do not have to be like where I live in Rhode Island in person in order to be, it's an entire online program. My desire, my goal, and what I'm working up to is that there is like an in-person element to this the next time I run it. But for this first round, it is all virtual. So all you need is a computer or a phone, in Zoom. That's where we'll be hosting everything. And once, I should mention that this is there's only 13 women in this, only 13 spots available in this program. And the reason why I'm keeping it intimate is because I want to be very involved in everyone's reinvention process and to know everyone's life and what they're going through very intimately, to be able to offer like very specialized support and to tailor the practices to what's coming up for the small group of women. And 13 is also the number of the goddess, so that there's like sacred magic woven in as well. But there are only 13 spots. It is a virtual program entirely, and then once all the women are in the program, we will all decide collectively when the times and the dates for the calls will be, so that everyone is able to attend, and always the calls will be recorded in case you can't be there live for whatever reason, so that you can do the practices on your own. And as we go through the program, I'm going to be building out a library of different journaling prompts, different shadow work practices, different sensual and emotional alchemy practices that you guys will have and be able to take with you even beyond the 7 months of us working together. And it'll be in like this private podcast that you can listen to at any time. So this program is what I wish I would have had. This kind of support is what I wish I would have had when I was going through my first round of this reinvention process way back in when I was like 21, 22. So yes, that was a great question, Josie. Thank you for asking. It is 1,000% virtual. There is no in-person component to the program this round. All right, everyone. I hope you have an amazing night. Bye.